Girl, I am plucked, gagged, and flabbergasted. Hey y'all, it is Renegayde, and let's spill some Reali-Tea on RuPaul's Drag Race Season 18. On this episode, the question on everybody's mind is who will be this season's Porkchop as a Q-pop-inspired girl group. Make these queens take the stage for the first time to shine a light on who are the true performers of this season. But before we get into it, let me introduce my co-host, and he's tested positive for slaying. It's QuackrrJack.
Thanks for inviting me once again. Here we are, ready to talk about the actual first elimination challenge in Drag Race 18.
And then what a challenge that was.
Let me tell you, I already feel like I'm Katya with the phone to you about drag is a crown, now lock me up. Like, I've already got the verses like, girl, this shit. And you'll be like, I am a podcaster at YouTube, so I cannot be mean.
Right, I'm trying to be so nice to everybody. Everybody was lovely. I'm in my Paula Abdul era. I love everybody. The runway was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. These girl groups were like the best girl groups I've ever seen in my life. Like Spice Girls, eat your heart out. Yeah. How many more other lies do I need to tell right now before?
Let me just say, if drag is a crime, lock me up. Just lock me up.
Oh, like
Season 18 is getting locked up right now as we speak. And
Season 18 is in a rough spot at this moment. Like, it's not bad. Like, I'm having fun, but is this shit just cheesy or is it just me? Because
you know, I need someone to confirm after their NDA expires that either Michelle or RuPaul like held a gun to their heads as they were writing the lyrics, because I was like, what are these trash? What is this garbage? And they said, a disco song that's inspired by Sylvester. And then they were like, let's do a Barney pop hit. I was like, wait a minute, hold up. What am I doing here?
Yeah, I did not realize that we were auditioning for Kidz Bop's Pride Edition, because that is what this whole entire challenge was giving for at least 2/3 of it. Because like, I was so excited. I was so excited that we're on, like, we got the girl groups back. Like, we didn't get any of them last year. I'm like, all right, okay, cool. I'm ready. I'm excited. Let's do this. And then for it to be a situation where it's like, I don't hate the idea of this challenge, okay? I just want to be very clear. Like, there is something about paying homage. By the way, y'all, it's homage without the H. The H is silent. It's homage. Okay. There's something about paying homage to, you know, gays of yesteryear, right? That a lot of current kids aren't knowing, right? But did we have to do it in such a way that just felt like it was just so, like I said, Kidz Bop. I love the idea of this season really wanting to show power for us gays, right? Like, the LGBT community is clearly in a place right now. Like, 2026 is going to be a year for us under the administration that we're currently in, clearly. So it's a situation where it's like, I get that we want to pump us up, right? There needs to be something that gets us all going together and, you know, protecting queer art in some, you know, some stations. But as Plain Jane would say, this is not the queer art I want to protect. Like, this is, it's just like,
is the queer art worth protecting in the room with us? Let me know.
Anyway, we'll get into these performances in a moment, but like, let's talk about some slight, I guess, semi-slight drama that was going into this. Actually, there was none.
Yes, there was.
I mean, there was drama within the girl groups, but like heading into it, there wasn't really any storyline.
The only drama was that people were mad about Nini getting her deserved win, and then they're like, I should have been in the top. No, I should have been in the top. And I was like, but Nini was clearly in the top, and you guys all thought she was in the bottom. So, like, we're not taking fashion advice from nobody anymore.
Not no more, especially after this runway, too. I mean, there might be a couple
Oh, this
girls that might say
one.
yes. I could take some fashion advice from, but like Nini is clearly one of the girls that I'm like she's hit it at least 3 times now, and I would say like her entrance look maybe wasn't like the biggest hit, but as we kind of talked about last week, it was extremely well constructed. So like
Yeah.
she's like as much as I didn't necessarily like the color pattern and whatnot, like it still looked fine to me. So I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna hate on her.
It was constructed
So
well. It was a rainbow dress though, and everyone has a feeling about rainbow outfits. We all know it. It
I
it,
mean,
it was
Melinda
what it
Verga
was.
did nobody any favors, unfortunately. So
Well, let's keep it in the same region at least to give her some credit.
I will always take a moment to talk about Melinda Verga if I need to. By the way, y'all, UK versus the World season 3 starts January 27th. Melinda Verga's on it, and go watch our Meet the Queens cast preview because that was a lot of fun. I'm so excited for this season. Um, but like there was like a little bit of shade, I guess, when Kenya Pleaser kind of set up like not by the hairs of Didi Fuego's Chinny Chin Chin. And I was just like, okay, why are we hating on Didi so much? Like Didi had, at least for me, she hadn't done anything like egregious to the point where I'm like, she needs to be hated on that much. I didn't even think that she was like her beard was that visible, but clearly she did need some makeup help, I will say. But
She needs to oh yeah.
yeah, like
We can't all be talented at everything, I guess, but this one seems like something is easy to do. But I mean, we can get into it.
yeah, I mean, I feel like for me, it kind of all the drama really came down to this whole girl group situation, and we were kind of already talking about it, but like, what were your kind of thoughts here about like these? Like, did you get when they were saying like we were gonna get a funk-inspired disco track from Sylvester, a pop song from Wham, or a punk banger from the Runaways? Were you thinking that we were gonna get these songs that we got? And
I thought,
also, before you say it too,
okay,
would you have fought over the disco song as much as they did? Because like, girl, like I thought World War III was about to go down in this workroom right now because like the way Athena and Vita, like I was like, who is gonna punch you? Someone's about to punch somebody because these girls are fighting, and I'm like, I love the fight, I will say, and I do say I love the fact as well too that the underdog girls were not like they were not taking any crap from these other girls, which is what they should do. So I'm glad they got their first choice, but I'm like, would disco really have been your first choice? Because it would not have been mine.
Disco would have been my second choice. You know, I say the exact same thing every time there's a girl group challenge and there's a category of this type of music. It's always punk first. Punk always wins. I'm there has been like very few times the punk challenge isn't the winning thing. And I think we need to look at the statistics here that it is very easy to act punk and people be like, oh my god, they're going outside of their comfort zone. Oh my god, they're doing something so different. Like, okay, sure. So if it were me, punk is where I'm going. But disco would have been my second choice because after I heard that pop track, I was like, I'm not sure about this one. But you know, I mean, for some reason, no one wanted punk, except for the first group where Vita was like, "I'm actually doing this strategically to get Athena pissed off." I was like, "Oh." I was gagged. I was
Do
like,
you think
wait,
that was
this
the
smart.
truth, though?
Yeah, I
Initially, because
do
I
because
was kind of like, I wasn't sure, but then
she said it in the workroom.
as soon as she kind of cut it off, I was kind of okay, girl. Like Vita is playing this game. I totally underestimated Vita. I'm gonna say this right now. Like I did not go into this thinking she was gonna be playing this type of game. She was giving me like, I'm trying to think of like maybe. Actually, I can't really think of anybody. Actually,
This
because
is
like
like
the
a
girls that I initially went to were like Kennedy Davenport and Tamisha Iman, and I'm like, holy,
only black
wait,
women.
no,
Okay,
no, no, no. But I was like, no, I was thinking like pageant queens, like that kind of came in with that like that pageant attitude, and they kind of came in with that
mistress.
same kind of pageant speech. But I'm like, yeah, I mean, you could add Mistress to this list too, because I'm like, these pageant girls. I mean, all three of them that we just named are cutthroat. So I'm like, why was I not expecting that from Vita? And I'm like, my whole entire perspective of her changed, realizing like these pageant girls, I think, are so much more cutthroat than we expected them to be. I mean, like, remember. Ginger Minge was a pageant girl, and she's gonna lie about everything. So,
It's
the
only
ultimate
embellishment.
strategist: put Ginger Minge on Traitors.
She learned from Bob the drag queen to embellish everything, is what she said.
Oh,
Okay.
I haven't watched the Bob interview yet. I need to watch the Bob
Well,
interview.
that's on you because it's
It
been
came out.
out.
It came out today. Okay, I had other
And it
things to
was
do.
like
Like
it
some of
was
us
like
have
the
a job
Grammys
to
of
work,
gay
Jack.
people.
Okay, okay,
It was the
sorry.
Grammys of drag race people. You should have put that shit on in the
I
background at least.
I was
It's
planning on
20 minutes
listening
or
to it
so.
tonight. Okay, and I
20
will
minutes or
go
so.
into
It'll
it
be
as soon as
fine.
I'm done editing. But one thing, let's go ahead and talk about how like these groups were picked because we kind of saw this in like the preview, and this kind of set us up for an arc I was not expecting to say. So, Nini, Coco, and Vita Von T Star get to pick their own groups, being that they were the top two for last week, and then everybody that they don't pick in their five girl groups will be left over in the fourth group. And so they go back and forth picking. Nini picks Mia Star, Sierra Mist, Mikey Meeks, and Kenya Pleaser, while Vita picks Briar Blush, Juicy Love Dion, Discord Addams, which I was gagged by, and Jane Don't, which leaves not only Didi Fuego, Darlene Mitchell, and Mandy Mango on their own, but Athena Dion, the girl that we both picked as like the number one girl in this whole competition.
I didn't say number one. Vita's my number one.
I feel like pregame we were both very high on Athena. Maybe
Yeah,
Vita could
Athena's
have been,
definitely
but
going to be
okay,
on the
but
top four, but
1.5.
girl, she was like my
Athena
third pick.
Dion.
Briar Blush
Okay,
was before Athena too.
our second place overall pick. Thanks for clarifying, Jack. Our second place overall pick, Athena Dion, is left without a partner, without a group. I was initially kind of gagged by it, but I'm also kind of really thinking back to this premiere, right? Because Athena had, if we're gonna look at this in like a survivor perspective, and we like to do, I'm not sure how much you know about, or how much any of y'all really know about, like editing logic, aka EGIC, EDGIC. It is something that I kind of follow a little bit, and I do think that it has its merits in a lot of cases, especially in situations where the editing isn't as in depth as it's supposed to be, and it's going to be a situation where the girls that are obviously going to go far are the girls that we're seeing a lot of, and tend or typically the people that do the best are people that have, you know, edits that don't really have a tone to them. And tone comes down to like whether or not you feel like positive for them, negative towards them, or, like neutral, or just like maybe you're just not supposed to feel any sort of like way towards them in general, right? In this particular situation, last episode, I was feeling some type of way about Athena because I'm like, I was really pulling for her, but it felt like also like a lot of attention was going to her for a lot of negative reasons. So if I was to really like put down like my thoughts on how I felt about her tone for the episode, I'd say it was extremely mixed because I feel like she was meant to be seen as a very strong force. That she's very confident in herself, but she's very good at getting in drama with other people, which isn't necessarily a bad thing per se, but it does go down to say like sometimes like maybe you're not gonna have the most warm reception to you if you're feeling a little slightly negative. And girl, as someone who is slightly
Can't
negative
relate.
themselves, I know how that is, so I kind of get it. But so
Yeah, I can't relate, so I'm just glad I'm on that train already.
yeah, I'm glad you have never been seen as
Never been
negative,
negative.
never been seen as
Never
negative
negative.
ever, and never been seen as slightly intense.
It's
But
called passion.
I will
Get into
say is I will
it.
say though I will say though they didn't say we're wrong, so I'll give you
Yeah, I
that
told
credit.
you they didn't say I was wrong.
There's
They
that
were like,
credit, but but anyway, just like learning back to this, just because we both had Athena very high on her list, and she's obviously like this whole episode, these whole first two episodes have really kind of followed Athena's journey. And we saw a lot about how she was kind of feeling some type of way about her group, how she was just kind of in such like a negative headspace where it felt like it was just really like kind of tainting everything she was kind of doing. Like it felt like she could have she like I mean she got the song she wanted, she fought really hard for it, which let's talk about that really quick before we get into like how her group and everybody actually performed. But I do appreciate the fact that her and her group fought so hard for the song that they
Yeah,
wanted.
you should have. And I personally, if it was me, I wouldn't have gone anywhere without getting the song I wanted. But again, I wouldn't have picked Disco personally. But like, I think that it's only fair that the girls didn't get picked, get the chance to pick their song. But I mean,
Hmm.
it's also doesn't have to be fair. What Naomi said, life's not fair.
And neither should a
Gangster.
competition necessarily. And there was part of me that really did want to like be like, okay, well they didn't get to pick their song, or sorry, they didn't pick their group. They should get to pick their song. But at the same time, them too, I'm like, Nini and Vita got a reward for doing so well last week. So should
Hmm.
they be thrown into the bottom or not get what they want just because of the situation? Like they
They
left it
got
up
to
to
pick
the
groups.
girls.
I mean,
Yeah, but the whole idea was like they got to pick groups, but it was up to them to decide what was going to happen. So if like
that's just for
the
mess.
two groups decided to just like ice out the third group, I wouldn't have hated them for it. But I do appreciate the fact that the third group was like really stood up for themselves, and that was part of me that was like, okay, I'm ready for this redemption story arc where this like underdog group like turns this around, right? I was here for it at
Okay.
that point. But then again, like Mandy too. I think Mandy was feeling the energy because she was like, I am bonding with my team and like we're the underdogs and we're going to win and unite together and form an alliance against everybody else. And Athena Dion's in the confessional being like, girl,
I hate these people.
no, it's not. I'm just like, so here's my thing. And because mostly just because like Athena has been such a strong presence in these first few episodes. Do you think it's a bad look for her to be going through this multitude of emotions in the first two episodes? Or do you think it's just a situation where, like, yeah, she came in as a front runner, but they're giving her a lot of adversity at the start to maybe make her journey feel like it's a lot more earned at the end when she actually gets there?
That could be part of it. I think that there's also this issue where all of the girls have said Athena is not really a team player. She's very about her own way, and like all of the girls seem to agree on this, or the majority of the girls, except for the ones that were on her team, because they didn't want her to be more pissed off. But I mean, look, when you look at the people who are left, every single person that got picked, someone sees them as their friend or really easy to get along with, or can dance, or they have faith in their abilities. And the people left are like Darlene, who everyone's like, I don't think she has rhythm in her body. Didi Fuego, they don't think she has rhythm in her body either. And Mandy Mango, who was a bottom last week for an outfit that she couldn't make happen, and her makeup's not that good. So like, she gives very young queen energy, and there's nothing wrong with being a young queen. It's just in this setting you want to set yourself up for the best possible chances, and I think Athena just took a lot of offense to it, and no one, I can't blame her. I would take offense to it too, but the way she went about it is just it's just dramatic as hell, and maybe she's playing it up for the cameras, but like it was so funny to me. I was like, I get
Mm.
it. I would be upset too. I probably wouldn't let it show like that, but we're all different. We all have different feelings and ways of expressing it, I guess. But it was funny. I loved it. I was
Well,
here for
here's my
all the
thing
drama.
too, and
I don't think
while
it
we're on the
affected them.
subject, while we're on the subject of Athena too, because I've been getting so much main character energy from her, right? And you kind of know, maybe some history that we might have had with some other people that have felt like main character energy in the past. So here's my thing, right? Is this Athena actually being the main character of this season? Like, did they really cast her to be the main character narrator of this season? Or has she just forced herself into that role based off of her personality? Because I'm going back and forth on the two. I'm like, I feel the main character energy from her. I feel like I should be rooting for her, even though she's going through all of these like crazy things. But at the same time, though, too, I can't ignore the fact when someone is like, "No, girl, they're just delusional." Because I have firsthand experience with that. So I'm just
I
curious. What are your thoughts on Athena in this whole
I think
situation?
Athena might be like kind of being authentically herself, but also it's not such a bad thing to make yourself at the center of drama or to make yourself kind of a villain in some way because people love to play that up and they would love to keep a villain longer, right? For all the purposes of just getting a better story, some more drama, and I think maybe Athena is just like this. She is used to a lot of she said it this episode, I think this challenge humbled her. I think she's used to like a very high standard of things, and when she doesn't reach up to those standards, or she doesn't think people are looking, she thinks people are looking down on her. She probably gets upset about that, and she maybe feels that way currently, because no one picked her, and yet her daughter, well, granddaughter, but we don't say the G in public, right? um, got picked.
I feel like okay. I'm just gonna say something about the whole granddaughter thing. It's giving me like Roxy Andrews with her situation, right? Where it's like, I think maybe it probably didn't actually happen, but maybe Morphine dropped Juicy off at the bus stop, and I think you just had to pick her up really quick. But-
No, I don't think that's what happened at all. I just think, Morphine has a story of her own, and then these two are just getting cast at the same time, and I think it's no surprise that we're casting two members of the same family.
Okay, well, I have a really quick question for you, really quick, because there was a whole thing that went down while they were discussing the whole parts thing, and whoever this girl was, I didn't catch it off the top of my head. I think maybe it was Athena who was doing it, but and this is why I'm bringing it up because we're on the subject, but I hope maybe you remember. So you know how they're talking about the parts, right? And then
Yeah,
somebody from the leftovers group, I want to say it was Athena, points at Discord and goes, "Girl, what are you thinking? Because I know you want to do the punk part," which kind of makes it like
yeah,
turn
it
like
was
the
Athena,
whole.
I believe.
Okay, okay,
I'm
good. I kind of love that when she was like, "Girl, you know you want to do punk," and I'm just like, "Oh, girl," I'm like that's
yeah,
so smart. Point out that one girl in that group that you know for a fact wants a different part than the rest of the group, and cause some dissension within that whole group. I loved it, and then you get Vita though, who is basically just causing the whole drama, because she wanted punk to begin with.
Yeah, I think it was really smart of Vita, and I think it was really smart of Athena. Like, I think they both played well, but the thing is, Vita was playing chess, and she was just two moves ahead of Athena. Athena thought she was playing chess too, and maybe she was, but Vita basically was like, "I'm getting ready to checkmate her," and Athena thought she had Vita in check. No, 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 no. She didn't see that knight coming up for the last kill, and that's
Mm.
kind of what happened here. And I was living for it. I was like, people I was watching with, they were like, I don't think Vita really thought that. And as soon as Vita was in the workroom and it happened during the day, I was like, okay, so Vita clearly planned this. Like, there's no lie about the statement now.
I'm loving it.
Um,
I'm loving
I
it.
love the whole thing, and so we end up with that group of like, she gets the punk, and it looks like she's being the nice one, right? She looks like kind of the hero in the subject, right? By backing down from not getting what she quote unquote wants, and makes Athena look even more sour. Right now, Athena's even more mad than she was before, and it's like everything is working out in Vita's idea bag of like what she's gonna do. And she's explaining to her team, like, I planned these things, this was gonna happen, like, we've got it. And I was gagged.
I did have to laugh though because I felt like Discord was the one that was really trying to pull them to be in the punk direction. And then she was like asking Jane for like help with her lyrics when she was like, "I'm gonna help everybody with their lyrics and everything they need." And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just like,
that did happen.
"Oh, they are clowning on Discord so much. I don't know how to take it." Because it's like when you are clowning on somebody that much, just so openly,
In
like
the end,
clearly you just you have no concern with how like they're seen to the public at all whatsoever. So I'm just like, what is are the rumors true? Did Discord do something? Because I'm like, they are playing in her face a little bit there. Like I've seen so many. I think I was on Twitch earlier, and I saw so many people using the Discord walking meme is just like ways that they could get like an additional like credit in their channel. So I'm just like, girl, I don't know if things are going to end well for Discord, but I mean, we'll get into that when we get to the challenge here in just a second here, Jack. Because I know you were just dying. You were so excited to take this quick trick to the runway, and
Oh God.
I love the category name. I'm not going to be able to say it within its entirety, unfortunately. But the
Say it
runway
with
category
the lip.
is your neck, your back, your bussy, and your
That's
crack.
almost worse. That's like worse in my mind.
It's fine because it's. I mean, I don't think that's
Anyways,
demonetized. But AKA was your favorite body part, which I was kind of like, I was low key very excited for this category
we've
because I'm
seen this
like,
category multiple times.
but we haven't seen it in I feel like years because
Yeah, it's been a
this
little
feels
while.
like very old school Drag Race where you get like the old school like show us your favorite body part because I would just always remember like Alaska walking up being like my collarbone is my favorite body part and I'm just like things like that are just so stupid to me. I'm just like I don't know if this runway gave me what I was hoping from this category. And I'm just now at a point where we've now had maybe like two runway categories in a row now where I'm like, okay, like clearly they can't design their own looks. Maybe they could bring some good looks. And I'm like, oh, maybe it's just the category. Please just let it be the category. Maybe they just misinterpreted the
It's not
category.
the category,
But
Mama. You saw it. I saw it.
I'm trying to be positive, Jack, okay?
Take
So
that positivity and shove it somewhere else because it's not here, Mama. We're gonna be. Let's get rid of the positivity and start getting
can
to
you
the
make a
work.
top three? Is all I'm gonna
Yeah,
ask.
easy, easy,
Okay.
easy.
Yeah, I know we
But
can make a top
there's
three.
still enough
There's at
good
least
people in this
three.
group. I would say, but the problem is the person who's in my fifth place slot. I was like, I didn't really like their outfit. I had issues with it, but it wasn't bad. And when there's 14 girls in my fifth place, I'm struggling with. I think that says a lot. That being said,
Tell us who stood
I
out and who stood out for the wrong reasons, Jack.
I think we should start with the negative first and get to the positive because I'm not sure how much more positive we're gonna get. So let's try to sandwich it in or something. So, from the start, I have Darlene as one of my lows. I liked the concept. I just felt it was very cheap from the burger titties down.
I
I think
kind
we
of
can
like the
kind of all
burger
agree.
titties. I
I
hated
do.
them
I
at
like them.
first, but I
I
did kind of like them ultimately. I think I kind of enjoyed them.
I like the burger
But I get
titties.
why you hate it.
But here's the thing about Darlene's outfit. She does this country trashy thing. Like she explained her character to RuPaul this week about how it's like glamour, but also like really trashy, and that's great and all. But it doesn't really work, in my opinion. And so one of the things, like in this runway specifically, because I didn't really feel like she was showing off her favorite body part, but showing off her body. And she was like, it took me a long time to love my body. You know, we love body positivity and stuff. But I just think when we're really looking at it, she didn't necessarily meet the assignment in terms of like what I thought we were going to get from this. I loved the what is it, sunburn lines and stuff, and it was very funny. She has the point of view, it just doesn't feel like it's executed well, and that's why she ends up towards the bottom for me.
Right.
But
It's giving like a situation where like I would say like like Gottmik when she came out on All Stars 9, she made like a statement with like the breast reduction situation and like
mm-hmm.
um it felt like that's what she was trying to do here, but it just didn't come across in the same way at all. Just because I don't know if Darlene has the same perspective to be able to make that work in that kind of
Well, she has the
light.
perspective, she just doesn't have the execution just yet.
Okay, right.
um
Okay, like because I get what she's going for. I get what she's trying to say in some ways, but it's not reading in the same kind of like shocking way
yeah,
that like
I
something like
went
that would that kind of statement would make. So I get it. I get why she's in your bottom.
initially I put her as my like lowest, but then I was like, you know what, thinking about it, she's conceptually like better, but I can't excuse lame ass drag like this and act like I thought that there was a lot of time and effort put in there. But to be
When you
fair, a
said
lot of
lame
the
ass drag, I thought you were gonna say Mickey. Sorry, Mikey. Did I just call her Mickey?
Well, yeah, you did.
I just did
I'm
you.
so glad you said it because I didn't know which one it was until you said it. So I was like, oh, great, now I'll know.
I was
uh,
trying to help you transition. That's
yeah,
all.
help me transition to that. So, someone I have to call out because it must be said, Kenya, pleaser, I'm so upset with you right now. You're gorgeous, you're beautiful. This is 2 weeks in a row where the runway has been rough, and I don't know which runway I thought was better, this one or last week's. And
You're so
honestly,
mean to the
yeah,
girls that are in your category, Jack. I'm like, I like this. I thought this was. I
it
didn't hate
was.
this
This is something she pulled
at
out of her
all.
closet and said,
Like,
"This is work." This is something she pulled out of her closet and said, "This will work." I felt like there was no real inspiration here. I felt like there was no actual trying to do something different than what she had already done. I feel like this was very lazy. I don't even think it was the laziest one, but what I did see was I was like, "This is stretch fabric with jewels on it." And that's what we got from Darian in season 6 for her look that she had to make on the runway, but she
but
made it
these
again.
jewels were so nicely placed, and they were not
They
dragging the
were
fabric down.
they were nicely
So
placed. I agree, but
give her a
again,
little bit of credit
I
because
am giving her
she's.
credit.
I don't think she's definitely worse to be in the bottom three. I could think. I'm like
I
Darlene,
do.
and I could think of two other ones that I'm already. And I
Look,
already said one of them. And if you want me to
yeah,
give you the other one, I will gladly
I
give you
already
her
know
name
who the other
now.
one is, but
I'm sure you
um,
do, but
because you're gonna say Didi Fuego, and she barely missed the
I
bottom three for me.
I am gonna say Didi Fuego because she was
She's my bottom
literally
four.
just wearing a her entrance look when she came in. That's that like needly like what is it? The
It's a boa.
boa.
It's a
Yeah,
boa. Is the word you're looking for.
and this is basically like it was one thing when she walked out initially because I was like, okay, I'm fine with it being like the whole thing being her outfit, right? But then like then she takes it off and she's like, I'm just wearing a boa again. I'm just like, oh Lord, girl, like,
Her
and then
original
in
outfit was
this
a small dress
frumpy
with a
ass
nah.
pink bodysuit that she had with
That was the
it, it
problem.
was this was no, no.
Here's why.
I feel so shamed out of putting her in my top four picks for the.
I did too.
I'm
I did
so.
too.
I feel so.
I gave
I'm.
someone a chance, and I was like, I see. This is why I gotta just be meaner on this. But
I
anyways,
am
let's get
plucked,
into that.
gagged, and flabbergasted.
Let's get into it. So my issue with other people's looks over Dee Dee's is that Dee Dee's concept is really good in terms of a boa that becomes a like essentially your dress. It was what was underneath the boa that was the problem. And when she first was showing it, her headpiece was good. The fact that she came out as a cloud kind of thing, I was like, this is interesting. She's showing off her legs extremely well. And I feel like she met the challenge at that point. Now the fact that she started going further and showed us that she had like a scrunchy neck piece leading up to the rest of a leotard or whatever it was just terrible. And I was like, security, that right there, like get it out of here. But I had to put Kenya lower just because I feel like Dee Dee might not have had this already in her closet, and Kenya most definitely had the white cape over the simple bodysuit with that in her
I
closet
don't know.
already.
The only thing we've gotten out of Dee Dee has been boas, so I think she has this in her closet.
Look, I don't think that she had this in her closet. I think she had it made for the show, but I also think it was more successful in showing off of her favorite body part. Whereas I think Kenya straight up was just showing off her body in general, and I applaud that. I just think that if we're going to do it, we could make it look a little bit more expensive than $5. So
Leave
I
Kenya
just
alone. Who was your
no.
the other person? Who was your
And
other one
then
that
the
on the
person who
bottom?
has to be called out the most probably is Mikey. Um,
Yeah, that's what I
so
wanted. I just wanted to go ahead and to shift the conversation to
This
it.
is literally like 6 IKEA bags or something pasted together and then like drawn on with some like cheap paint. And she said, "Let me cut out my leg and do a twirl with it." I said, this outfit isn't even showing off your legs. Your legs look small in it. And worst of all, when she took it off and she had nothing on underneath other than that like little two pieces of fabric kind of thing put together to create what it looks like an overdone shirt, like a bigger shirt because she's so small that she's just wearing it. It looked terrible. I was like, this is unacceptable.
It was giving me
E-
art project that I would make in
It
like
was
high
our
school,
project.
especially
Hmm.
with the way that like the leg twirls. Because I'm like normally like I feel like it would be one thing like if she did the bag and then like the leg was like mechanical or something, right? Like if there was like something battery operated where it made the leg go up and down. And I'm just like, this is just so
Well,
cheap. I'm
well, and
sorry,
here's
I
the
can't.
it's
I
like good
can't.
concept, terrible execution, right? And the worst part of this was the fact that I first said to someone when I was watching the show, I was like, she did not just come out in some cardboard that she painted black. And then I realized,
But she
no,
did.
it wasn't even cardboard. It was worse than that. I was like, oh hell no. And then I said, is this bitch paper mache'd up some bags from IKEA right now? Is that what I'm seeing? And I was gone. I was done with it. She's already not one of my faves, and like obviously I have a bias, and we can all check that right there. Like I know I have the bias towards her, but this is unacceptable.
But I'm trying to like her. I'm trying to not have bias. I don't feel
Mm,
like there's anybody on this cast that like. So I'll be very honest. Like going into like Canada 6, I felt some type of way about PM. They're giving me everything I fully expected them to give at this point. I don't know if there's anybody in this cast I went into this feeling like some type of way about. Like I'm trying to be as open
Mandy
minded as I want to
Mango.
be. I mean, she was like probably fifth place on this point, just because I'm like I like her look, but
I'm gonna be honest with you.
it could have
She
been done
hit
so much
right.
better.
She was hit right in the middle for me because I knew exactly what she was doing and I knew that she had a concept. I said, outside of that, I felt like a lot of other girls didn't have a concept or just did it really poorly. And I was like, this is ugly.
And
And
that's fair.
so I was just like, I don't know. That there's just a lot of choices in my opinion. But when I looked at like what was the criteria of making sure it shows off your body part and stuff, I just had to go with my gut of like what actually showed off the body part well and what was just like womp womp. And I
Do we
felt
want to
like
talk about the
four
good
of it was
choices at
womp womp.
least? Because I'm at the point where I'm like I can't talk about the negative no more. I want to just give
I'm
a
being
quick shout
annoying.
out because I know I don't think I don't think she made your top three. But I
She did
really
not, but she was
enjoyed.
my number four.
No, she was. I
I
don't
was
even
gonna
think she
bring
was
her
your
up
number
still.
four. I think she was number five. I
Who?
really enjoyed Jane Doe.
Oh no, Jane Doe was in the middle, girl. Who
I
got your
really
top
enjoyed
five?
Jane Don't. She was not my favorite of the night, but I just wanted to go ahead and bring her up really quickly.
Take
And
that
then
shit outside.
also, I think my second favorite of the night, just so I could say, because I know she's not in your top three. Nini Coco, I want to say I'm sorry for comparing you to Elvas last week. Other
Was
than
it
the fact
respectful?
that I will allow you to still have like the same like savior of drag speech, because at least for you, it would make sense because you have given like some good perspectives on things. You've given us some great like outfits that are tailored. I'm not gonna hate on you no more. Like I'm gonna give
That's what
Nini
she
her
says now.
flowers. So I'm gonna no, I said that she was
Well,
giving me the
see,
Elvas whole situation. I felt for her while she was trying to sing and her voice was like gone. And I'm like, I went trying to karaoke during the last drag con and I'm like, I can't sing, my voice is gone. And I'm like, I felt like such a failure the whole time. So I'm like, Nini, I totally know how you felt during the challenge. So I get it. But
damn, I'm
Jack,
calling her a failure.
talk about your top
Uh,
three.
all right, so Nini, I'm giving that special shout out since Renegade thought I wouldn't.
I already did,
Nini,
girl.
I loved your fashion here. I thought it was so genius. I just the only thing that kept you out of the top three for me was I was like, I feel like we could have done a little bit more to give the brain, but I will say the idea of the ruffling, or not ruffling, I'm sorry, the idea of how you came up with doing this inverted like pattern seam in the middle was genius because it did give that kind of idea of the cerebellum. So for that alone, you earned your place, obviously. That being said, there was almost no one else to get the places, so this week it was very rough. And um, our girls who made the top are Mia Star. She did an amazing job this week. She looked beautiful. I could not handle when the judges were like, I wish I had seen more. Shut up. Shut up. I hate you for saying I wish I could see your face when half these girls came out in something that just came from their closet. Shut up. Like, this thing
I
was
don't
amazing.
hate that critique because I get it, but I am also not
No,
also.
there was stuff on the
Hang
face
on,
channel.
hang on.
So you can interrupt me
I'm
when I can
not
interrupt you at
taking
the end.
away from my personal enjoyment from her because she would be in my
Hater.
top four because of it. But I do understand the critique that I would have liked to see a little more, but I get from the whole idea of like the challenge was like obviously like the 4 places that they pointed, right? And she came out, she was the only person that came out in an outfit that highlighted all 4 of those places because those are her 4 places that are her best goodie spots. So I don't hate on what she came out with at all
Yeah,
whatsoever.
she
But
killed
I
it.
do
It was
understand
so smart.
them wanting to see because it wasn't a face kini category, but I love the idea that she just blocked
It
off all those other places. I
literally.
do kind of wish though that the P and the C without saying more. I wish the P and C was that she exaggerated those parts a little bit more because I
No.
feel like that would have been hilarious
This was
and it would have
classy.
added to the the whole ironicy of the look, ironic nature of the look, I should say. But I still like it though. I'm not hating on it. It's a great look, and if like you put it at 2, I put it at 4. I'm like, you're one of those people that are like on my videos when we do the ranking videos, and like you put them one spot above this other person. How dare you? I'm like, girl, like top 4 is a good spot to be in when there is 13, 14 people left. So shut
Okay,
up.
here's the thing. Here's the thing about Mia, though. That needs to be said. She didn't have a face kini on exactly. She had actual stuff on her face that you could physically see when you looked at her, and I was like, her face has a design on it. I can literally see the design on it, and I can see the pieces that are on top of it. It made sense, and I was like, she's so smart. She covered everything up except for these 4 moments. I said, this is like next level smart. But she's a girl that knows this song. She lived this song. I know that she loves this song, kind of thing. So like, I was here for every single moment of this. It was amazing. Another person that needs to get their flowers for being so fucking smart and so intelligent, Briar Blush. What the hell? Covered up her whole body, very similar to me in that sense. And then even the veil over her face, just one finger showing with the nail on it. And she said, "My finger's my favorite thing." It doesn't even matter if her finger is or isn't her favorite body part. She just had to pick a body part and do it. And that was so smart because no one ever does that. No one does something like that. And then the way that she emphasized it, and it was just so much fun. It was so creative. I just think this is like the kind of drag I love to see. There's a perspective here. There's something different without trying to be like, without trying too hard. And beautiful, beautiful gown. She didn't have this in her closet before she came here. It was actually tailored for this challenge at the very least. Some of the girls definitely can't say that. So,
Can I say Briar
I
was my 4, and the thing that might have taken her to like number 2 because I don't think she would have gotten number 1 with this look, but I think it would have taken her to number 2 if like I get why she chose the pointer finger. I kind of wish she would have chose the middle finger.
I think she specifically tried to not do the middle finger for this reason, but I just think it was so smart, and I loved the whole thing about it. I was like, this is genius. This is next level. Because how better to really accentuate a body part than just cover everything else up? And it was like the exact same approach as Mia, but a little bit more on the nose. And then so finally, my winner of this week, though, is Sierra Mist. I think what she did was really exemplified in this challenge. It was so simple. You
Mm-hmm.
could tell her outfit might not have costed the most money, but baby, she made this stuff for this challenge, or at the very least, she had someone make it for her. If she didn't make it herself, I thought she did make it, but like I can't obviously confirm because I can't talk to her. But like this is smart. This is so smart. Putting your body part on multiple points of your body and enlarging it so it's everything you see, and it's your eyes, and it's beautiful, by the way. Beauty, and a beautiful dress as well that matches your eyes. Oh, I was like, this right here, this is smart, this is beautiful, this is what we want to see on this category. The girls can take notes and should take notes. Bless you for actually giving us some good drag. Bless all the girls in the top 4 who gave us that good drag this week on the runway. You all have made my night so much better, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But
Let's
You
run through
know,
these girl groups though, because these girl
yeah.
groups, I don't
Let's
know if
get to the
they
real
made my
negative.
nights better because, like,
That's a rough one.
honestly, like, if I was to really be honest, like, I do think the tops and the bottoms were probably correct as far as everything goes here.
Yeah,
I can't really say.
ish.
I mean, I get your opinion on. Again, I think you're really feeling Mia Star, which I can't hate on you for because I do think Mia was extremely
Me
strong
as
in
a
this challenge, and she
just
had a great
sig-
runway that I wasn't expecting to come from her this week. But I don't know. There's something about the way that Jane, like the whole punk situation, right? Like the whole, I do think if we're comparing the two groups, like the pop song again, sadly came off very kids bop for gays. So I'm just like, I can't fully get into it. I wanted to like it more. It wasn't as bad as thought on like the second watch through, but just I'm just it's never going to be something that I feel like any of us are going to go into and be like, I want to listen to that because we're not going to. But like, as far as everything goes, like there's something about the way that Jane did her lyrics, and I get that you feel some type of way about the fact that she kind of had the same like cadence set up where she would do like a line, and then she would have like a second line that would come out in, like a different voice where it would be like a joke, and then she would kind of have the second thing, and then like the second line would be a joke. So it was very much so like that was how she built her song, and I'm not mad at that. I felt that was very smart, and like at this point in time, we haven't seen them do anything else other than their first design runway. So I don't think you could say that anybody is like using like a stick over and over again, right? So I
eh,
felt like using something like that in your lyrics to set it up is actually very smart because what it does is it allows them to have something that they can kind of expect to have happen. Like it's reminding me a lot of like the Alaska and Alyssa Edwards comedy routine from All Stars 2, where you have like Alaska kind of setting up the punchline, and then Alyssa kind of saying her thing, and then Alaska like putting the period on the end of it, right? Like it's a very clear structure that we know we're going to get every single time, but I felt like it worked for her, and I feel I really like Jane a lot, and it was giving me a lot of shades of like Irene during the punk rock challenge during All Stars 10. So yeah, I personally would have given this win to Jane this week, but I could see why if you would have given it to Maya Star that or
yeah.
Mia Star, sorry, I could see why you would have given it to Mia Star. So um, yeah, I mean that's my personal opinion. But Jack, tell us about your opinions on the tops this week.
Okay, so for me this week, I think it was pretty correct to pick these two people out, but I think overall, Briar was stronger in the group than Jane for me specifically, just for me. Doesn't have to be for you, but it is for
You're
me.
not wrong.
Uh, no, I know. I'm not saying for you. I mean, like for everyone out there that's going to disagree with me, because I know there's a lot of them. But
I mean, in a lot of
um,
ways, Briar was kind of set up as like the lead girl in their group.
Briar did the best in her group, in my opinion, and there was no question about it. What Jane did was very smart. It was funny for the first two times, and then the next two I was like, okay, so like we don't have to do this every time, but that's fine. It was a smart play. It very much is giving Courtney Act in the roast doing a song because it plays into her strengths. Even if it's not going to be like the number one best thing, it's not going to land her in the bottom. And I think Jane did better than Courtney in that aspect, but still, I just wasn't like as impressed with her as everyone else was. That being said, again, I've said it a million times, I'll say it again. The punk song is always the easiest. That it was the easiest track of all three of them, and it wasn't even close. There was a landslide. I would say the pop song was probably the hardest, and Mia still somehow, with all the girls doing kid bops, she still came out here and told us who she was, what she does, related it to the topics of the songs that the other girls were even talking about, and was just so much fun.
I low
And
key
so I
have an
was like,
argument, if I could say.
Mia should have. Well,
I'll let
give
you
me a second.
finish. I'll let you finish. Yeah, I'll let you finish. But
I'll
I
let you
kind of,
finish, but
I want to just, I kind of want to slightly
I
counter
just think
that.
I just think Mia was out of these two was much stronger, in that aspect because I was like, oh, I love this because it was so funny and it was so good that she was like serious but also like could laugh at herself. And I was like, I just saw this as more. And then especially with the runway, I was like, you know, we've seen what Jane has done a million times on this runway already. And I'm not hating on it. It still wasn't a bad look. It just wasn't my top looks of the week. It just was like, I've seen this, so I'm not really gagging. But, it's my opinion. So it's just kind of like it's what you enjoy, I guess, the most at the end of the day.
No, I don't think you're wrong because I do think that, and I will say that I'm not disagreeing with you necessarily with your critiques of the individual performances. The one thing I wanted to disagree with you with is that I do think that what the actual hardest track of them all for was going to be is going to be the disco track because that is the track that RuPaul knows the most and that RuPaul is going to be the most critical of. And I do think that that was going to be the hardest track. So that's why I'm so gagged that every single person was like, I need disco. I'm just like, no, you do the thing that RuPaul is not familiar with. So that way RuPaul has nothing to base any sort of like critique on you on. So
I
if you're
want
just doing
to
fine,
know.
then it is what it is. But I do think that in a lot of ways, like she was the toughest. I wouldn't. And the thing is though, like the disco group was the worst group out of the four, easily.
And
But
it wasn't even a question.
it wasn't a question. But like I think regardless, she was going to be the hardest on this group just based
Mm,
off of her past on disco. And it is a situation where it's like I I'm trying to think of like certain things and topics that you know intimately here, Jack. And let's say, for example, we did a Pokemon runaway, and some,
it's over
you know
for
what I
me.
mean. You would be very critic. What did I even say there? You would be very critical of everything that came down that runway because what it is, Pokemon is it. It's what you know. It's what you love. So
Well,
when
that's not
you are a
exactly
disco ho
great.
like RuPaul, she's going to read those girls down. And I'm like, my whole thing is I'm going to try to separate myself as far away from what you are expecting as what you know, so that way I can kind of go out do my own thing and whatnot. So
There
I
was
whether or not you feel it way, I do feel like the disco track and the pop track though had like the same, like they all had the same underlying like queen pop pride message, right? But it's like
uh,
the disco. I'm like, if that's what it's coming down to, like, I'm staying away from disco. I'm just that's my personal
so
opinion.
I here's my thing. RuPaul knows punk and pop just as well as disco, in my opinion, because RuPaul was in a punk band growing up when they identified as genderfuck, and also like does pop music all the time, auto tuned, but we love it. So I mean, I feel like there's no real option there to get away from. RuPaul doesn't know this. I think RuPaul knows all of them pretty well. So I think there's a best way to get away from it. It's just for me when I looked at the music of it, I was like, oh, I don't want to perform the pop track as much as I want to perform the disco track. Like what they listened to the song and then decided, and I was like, how did y'all listen to the song and all come to disco when first of all punk is right there? So and then we saw two girls were like smart about how they wanted punk, whatever. But I just felt like there was so many interesting choices here being
I
made.
mean, I would have not fought as hard for that disco track. I would have gone for the punk track just because I know in my wheelhouse, I'm kind of. I mean, let's be real. A lot of us as Black queens, we know that we have a rock past within us. We know that we inspired the rock genre. So I'm like, I'm not afraid to do a punk song if I need to do a punk song. So that's why I'm like, I love the fact that Vita like made sure to rub that in everybody's faces. Be like, do you not remember that Black people originated the rock genre? So I'm like, we're not afraid of punk. So I love that, but yeah, this whole everybody in this whole group, and I think this whole group was just set up for failure to begin with, right? Just because it's like they're all the leftovers. We have Athena who probably feels like she should have been picked, and then we have three girls who were probably feeling some type of way even before they got into this. And I know Manny was definitely feeling some type of way. So it's just like their whole goal in this was to try to do their redemption, but it's like you're kind of facing the odds against you, and it's like the only thing that would have been worse for this group if is like maybe Kenya had been there, just because Kenya was in the bottom last week, and that's the only reason I'm saying that, not because of like Kenya being like a terrible performer. That would be the only thing that would have just guaranteed that this group was going to be the bottom group for the week. So I just everything was working against this group. This group was just unfortunately a hot mess, and then like the 1-2 step was not even a 1-2 step. Just
So
uh, yeah, the Studio 50 horrors were might go down as one of the worst girl groups I think we've ever seen, and we had Brazil too last year, right? So I'm like, oof. But I mean, do you disagree necessarily that the two worst people in this group were Dee Dee and Mandy Mango? Because
I disagree. Yeah.
I do think I would have put Dee Dee there. I think Athena would have been my other bottom two. I don't think I would have put Mandy in this bottom. Because I think Mandy was actually the standout from this group, other than like Darlene had like that funny lyric part, but Mandy, as far as the performance, she gave me the best performance of this group. So I'm a little gagged. A little. Slightly. Not really. Yeah. I expected it. But like I hate the fact that I'm saying, after saying how much I've been talking her up this whole season, I would have stuck Athena in the bottom two.
So I would have stuck Athena in the bottom two, and I would have stuck her in the bottom two with Mandy. And my reasoning being, I think Darlene was automatically free because she had the best moment in the song for me, where it was just like she did something that stood out, and was the only time that I really kind of got anything from it. My problem with Mandy is that there wasn't disco in it, and I was like, this isn't disco. And Athena was the leader of the group. Whether or not there was a leader in there when they said it, Dee Dee Fuego should have been like, yeah, Athena was our leader. Whenever we had something to say, she would let us know if it was right or wrong. So yes, we did have a leader. I would have thrown that ass under the bus so fast. I've been like, yeah, girl, I did Athena's way, and now I'm in the bottom, and I think that should be taken into consideration. Like that's what I would have done, straight up,
You
throwing
totally
her ass
would have
down.
too. You would have been like,
Mm-hmm.
"She made me do this. I had no choice."
No, it's
And
true.
then you would be, and then you'd be like, "Well, why didn't you say anything?" You'd be like, "Well, girl, it's Athena. I couldn't say anything to her main character over here. I already know. I already know how you
Oh,
would throw.
100%,
You would
baby.
have
This is the
thrown
game.
Athena under this bus so hard. She would have got hit harder than that girl from Final Destination." Athena wouldn't even be on the show anymore. But um, yeah, I do feel like Bandy was in the bottom purely, and I'm not gonna hate on this because this was something I said during UK7, right? Where it was like we have a bottom two. I do feel like one of the girls in the bottom should be somebody who was in the bottom the prior episode, especially if there was a non-elimination the
Yeah,
episode
I
before.
agree with that.
And between the two, Kenya did way better than Mandy, so I can't hate on Mandy initially or being placed in the bottom two, even though I probably thought she did better than that.
I just don't think she fit
Purely
into
just
the
because I
show.
think Athena, I do feel a lot more potential from Athena than I do from Mandy, so I don't want to lose Athena at this point, especially when every single storyline is like stemming from her. We have like Briar wanting to hate her, but also kind of wanting to like kai with her too. We
Hate
have
that
Juicy and
that
her
was out
going
of
back and
context.
forth with like
Or
them like
Briar.
right. I mean,
Briar
Briar
I
wasn't saying nothing back to it though. She was just like, yeah,
yes, she was. She was like,
I will
I
say
did
lovely
not
things about
say.
Athena. I will totally say lovely things about
She
Athena.
said, look, I might not be her like biggest fan, but I can say that at her age, Briar does look good. Or not, I'm sorry, not Briar. Briar said that Athena looked good for her age. And I was like, that's fair. And everyone was like, oh, you want to get with Athena? I was like, it was not that. She like specifically said what she said, and the girls were trying to twist it into something else. And no, and not mind you, none of the girls said anything else about who they thought was in there. Like, ooh, that's the trait of the season, girl. So, I mean, when you're looking at it, it just makes sense that this is how this went down.
I mean, I get it. It does. I'm not too shocked that things kind of ended up the way that we got. And ultimately, again, Didi Fuego ends up in the bottom two with Mandy and Mango. And at that point, I was just like, okay, well, Mandy, go ahead and go home. And we get a lip sync to Too Much by Dove Cameron, which, speaking of Dove Cameron, she has been on the show before this. Do you follow her at all? Because I don't.
No, girl, I barely follow any celebrities at all. Like, I do not care about that much. I think it's funny when I see them on a show or something, but that is the extent of that. Like,
Okay, yeah, like, I do appreciate that she does seem like she's really actually supportive of this community. I mean, like this is her second time being back because like I remember her name, so like clearly I remember like her being on the show, but like her being on the show had obviously no effect on like me following her. But I didn't hate the song, but it was giving me kind of like it's giving me like Hillary Duff pop. What what was her name? Hang on.
Hillary Duff Pop, that's her name.
Justin Bieber. What was her name? Who was the
Justin
girl? Serena, not Serena.
Serena Gomez?
It was Serena Gomez. Yeah, it's
Oh
giving
my
Serena.
god, you're so
I'm
old.
sorry. I'm sorry. Like Serena Gomez, as soon as she like came out as like a pop star, like I was like over. Like I was already I was in my Britney era. I had my Christina era. Like Serena Gomez came out. I'm just like, you are not as good as the other pop stars. But this is Dove Cameron kind of like reminds me of like Serena Gomez in that situation where I'm like, she's really good at singing like the same like five area range, but I'm like, I don't, I, it's fine, but I don't know. I'm not gonna jump in on it. But what do you think about this lip sync between Didi Fuego and Mandy Mango? Because like I was going into this being like, okay, Didi, like all you gotta do is just like perform and you're fine. And then Didi did nothing the whole time, and Mandy did everything. And I'm just like, okay, well, I guess some girl that I thought was going to be one of the winner picks for this year is just gonna go home this episode.
I mean, I just think that, we started out and I was like on Didi Fuego. I was like, oh, this is happening. And I was looking over at Mandy and I was like, she's taking way too much time and effort on these tassels trying to get the thing undone. And then it took her like a good 10 seconds to get everything off and she lost her wig and I was like, oh my God. But then Didi Fuego kept doing the same thing over and over again. So
It was a really bad lip sync, I would say. Well, not bad,
I
because I
wouldn't
think
say bad.
Mandy did okay, but it's not going to be one I revisit ever again, honestly.
Mandy started doing decent and then she started just doing a bunch of tricks, which to be fair is she didn't need to do as many as she did because we saw what happened. But yeah, it was a lip sync. I don't think it was as bad as like some of the other lip syncs that we've seen before as the first lip sync, but it was all right. It wasn't bad. It was just there was low energy from one of the queens that didn't go anywhere, and the other one was just doing every trick in the book to try to save themselves. And so it felt very chaotic at times. But Mandy Mango definitely became the winner of the lip sync when Dee pretty much chose not to do anything. And, she might have lost her wig. She might have taken off that thing and it looked really messy, but she started giving us everything she got. And her fire to stay here was much, much stronger than Didi Fuego's was. Point.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if Didi Fuego was just trying to do this kind of character and it just didn't go anywhere because it started off good and then it just stayed in that same spot the whole time.
And
So
I want to
it
talk
was
about
easy
Didi
to win.
I want to talk about Didi for just 1 second, just because like I'm kind of gagged because I remember like literally last week where like the period came out and like Bestie Johnson was like, I'm gonna release a pair of shoes that are inspired by you, and I'm just kind of like, oh damn, like okay, like we this girl has shoes. She's from New York. Like New York is necessarily like considered one of like the meccas. So I'm like, okay, like maybe we're literally going to be seeing like DDB that Latina queen that Roxy Andrews was just calling for to have happen. And then like this went down, and I'm just like, oh damn. Oh damn. Like I was gagged when Lucky Stars went home last season. This is even slightly more of a gag because I didn't
This
even
is way
have
more of
Didi
a
on
gag.
my radar to go home. So I don't even know kind of how to feel at this moment about like everybody in this cast, or at least maybe about what we've been shown from them. Because I'm like, Dee was kind of, I thought they were putting her on, I wouldn't say a pedestal, but I thought she was getting propped up to be like, you know, a girl, and I'm like, she ain't. So I'm like, and that, like I said, clearly I disregarded Vita. So I'm just like, I don't know what to expect from this season. I literally don't know. And
I
I'm
love
just
Vita.
I'm I'm kind of gagged. That's all I'm gonna say. Is that, like I'm just gonna go ahead and just. I guess we're gonna go into. This is gonna be maybe like a thing because like last season too, I kind of felt the same way. Where it was like I think we had preconceived notions on who was gonna do well, who didn't. Some of them did well. A lot of them did not do well in the eyes of like the judges. So I don't
I'm
know.
glad you said the eyes of the judges because that's important.
It is very important. It's extremely important because it's a situation where it's like there are certain girls where like they do well. Like I mean, Crystal Envy will forever go down as
Oh
that
my
girl.
god,
That's like
Rob, the queen
I
of
don't know if I
the
would say
year.
she was robbed because her Snatch
She
game was
was.
atrocious, but like
She won.
she shouldn't have. I don't think she should have been eliminated there at all.
She
And
shouldn't have been. This was a very much kind of like Scarlett versus Raja moment where it was like the lip sync was too close for you to have made just a decision based on like your fave or whatever you chose to do, and it was like ooh. So I don't know. It was it was a rough one to
I think it's
watch.
just maybe one of those seasons where I and this is one thing that has been happening a lot in U.S. Drag Race, where it's like you go in thinking I feel like one way from like the Meet the Queens and the promos, and then you see the actual show, and it's kind of jarring because like the girls that like you don't necessarily see being like that girl are the ones that are standing out, and then the ones that like you thought would be like standing out are like not at all. So I don't know. This could be a situation. I always flash back whenever I see like somebody super strong or somebody that I thought was going to be super strong in the bottom right away, like to
Mhm.
Canada 2 with Isis Couture like getting the win and then going right into the bottom right away. So like I'm not going to count Athena out, but I'm also sitting in a situation where I'm like I don't know if I'm still rooting for her like I was before because like these two episodes have been very jarring to like my opinions of what I thought we were going to be getting from these queens. So I just don't know how to feel at this moment. Like it feels like it's a very wide open playing field, and any of these queens can win, and that's
No.
exciting. Okay, not any of them. Obviously, there's still a short list, but I'm like, I feel like the short list might be longer than what we could be expecting here. So I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know how to feel. I literally don't know how to feel, especially because we have RDR Live coming up next week. Which did anybody ask that to come back? Are you here for it? Did you say you're here for it? I don't know how I feel
No.
about it.
Mm-mm.
I don't think I
Mm-mm.
want it here. I don't
I
think
don't
I
like.
do.
I don't like. I don't like RDR live because there are times when I think people are funny and then they're like, "You weren't funny," and I was like, "I think we just have different senses of humor at that point." And it wasn't like people and some people who I thought bombed or were boring. They're like, "You were so funny," and I was like, "Why did you say that? Why?"
Yeah, that's why I'm worried. So I'm like, why do the RuPaul Drag Race seasons always have to be the ones I go into feeling like the weirdest about? I'm thinking about that too because I'm like last season, I'm like or last year, I'm like the only seasons I ever felt like any sort of like true disconnect with were Drag Race, season 17, All Stars 10, and UK 7, other than the winner. But like I don't know. I'm trying not to let this get to this point where I'm like, we're gonna be in this whole like horrible era of winners and like things not happening the way that we want them to and whatnot, or we were expecting. And maybe it's a good thing that things are not happening the way that we're expecting. But at the same time, though, too, I feel like expectations are made, and when you don't meet those expectations, it's always very weird. So, um, Jack, we're way over an hour at this point, though. But that, I mean, obviously that's gonna happen. First elimination episode. Any final thoughts as we head into episode 3 next week?
I think Athena still has a really good chance in this game of Drag Race. I don't think you should count her out in any way, shape, or form yet. I think she is going to essentially rise up from the ashes or whatever, if you want to see it like that. Her quote unquote enemy now, Didi Fuego, is out of here because she felt a way about her getting her name thrown out. And as far as that goes, I think Jane has done really well into challenges immediately. And dare I say, Jane might be our 5th placer this season. It's just my prediction now. I'm
Yeah.
getting very much a Bosco or kind of like Susie 2 kind of feeling from this, where I think they're going to do well, and then I think they're going to be like the last person that gets cut randomly, and people are going to be upset. It's just my thoughts. I see a lot of similarities in some of these things because if you do too much right away and you set that bar so high, if you can't continuously keep getting to it, they start to expect more and more of you specifically. So I think that's my also prediction. I think Breyer is going to end up in our top 4. I think Vita's going to end up in our top 4. And honestly, that's kind of all I care about right now at this moment. And I surprisingly like Sierra Mist more than I thought I was going to. I've been finding her rather enjoyable as a character thus far. So I'm interested to see what else she's going to do because she was one of the reasons I was saved on the runway. Oh, also I want Mia Star to do extremely well. She was one of my like other girls I thought could be in the top, but I saw her maybe getting like a uh uh Selena kind of edit where she's going to go far but not going to make it to the end, but be like a couple episodes away. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope that becomes like another top 4 person for us. Preferably that would kind of be like my top 3 actually, and maybe Sierra Mist as a 4 at this moment tentatively.
Say it one
But
more
we'll
time so
see.
I can edit it out really quick because I ran to the bathroom really quick. I'm gonna edit this out. Who'd you say?
I said Mia Star as like our possible like in our top 3 with Briar Blush and Vita, and I said and possibly like a temporary top 4 with Sierra Mist currently because I'm enjoying her.
Okay, go ahead and Claire, finish your comment. I'll
Okay.
jump in. I just wanted to be
Okay.
sure.
And I just feel like with Sierra Mist, like I haven't seen enough of her yet. I'm not a huge fan of the makeup in terms of like it's always these big overdrawn lips, but I have seen that she is a makeup artist to some extent, and I have seen different sides of her drag already, and that kind of excites me to see that she can go above and over the top and not be afraid to push that envelope of fashion or camp in an actual fashiony camp way.
Mm-hmm. This feels like honestly the door is wide open to anybody at this point.
No, not
Like
anybody.
I do feel like there's certain people. Okay,
Kanye
there's
ain't
certain people
going
we could.
there.
I mean, we could
Mikey
count
ain't
out
getting there.
Darlene. We could count out Mandy. We could
Darlene
count
could be
out.
in our top 4, honestly. I
We
think
could
she's
count out
possible.
Darlene. I'm sorry. She
I
had
don't
her.
know.
She had her emotional moment a little far too early for me to think that she could like still make it there at this point. Like maybe if this was like a week or 2 or 3 or 4 from now and Darlene was having this breakdown, I feel some type of way. But I'm like, I don't feel like they also explained like her bedroom queen status that well because a lot of girls are like online are like, what does that mean to be a bedroom queen? Because in some ways, the way she was saying it is making me feel like she was just like dressing up in her room
No,
just because she wanted to versus like doing
I,
it for like the sake of like wanting to do like drag. So I don't know. There's
uh,
there was a little disconnect from that, but I still like Darlene, but I don't think Darlene's gonna be here for too much longer.
I can see Darlene going a
Honestly,
very long way. They like her. You can tell that RuPaul likes her a
I
lot.
just she can maybe make it halfway, but I don't think you can make it halfway just based off of likability unless you're bringing some extra to it. And she might, she definitely might. I vibe with her. I'm feeling sympathetic with her, so I enjoy Darlene. But like the edit that I'm getting from her right now ain't a winner. Ain't somebody that ain't even gonna be close to the top 6 at this point. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I do kind of like when our expectations are thrown off in a lot of ways, but I also like it when our expectations are met and exceeded and just blown away as well too. And I'm still holding out hope that 18 can still blow us away. I don't know if I've been blown away at this moment, but like
I haven't, but a few queens have piqued my interest.
I'm still enjoying the process here. I mean, like even like mediocre Drag Race at the worst is still better than like most TV at its best. So I'll still be here for
Yeah,
it.
I'm okay with
I'm
that.
yeah, right. Like so at the end of the day, you already know what I'm about to say. I can't wait to see how this turns out. And hopefully y'all can't either, especially if y'all lasted this long. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below on your thoughts on this episode. Are your expectations as shook up as ours were? Were you expecting this coming into it? This, and if you're somebody that again has read the spoilers, so you know what is going to happen coming into this, please don't comment because I don't want to hear from you because you are already spoiled. We want to hear from the all of us that are just watching the season, like just outright. So don't jump into the spoilers with anything crazy. But we would still love to hear from every single one of you and guarantee y'all we will still chat and comment back on all of y'all comments. And again, let us know, do you think the pork chop was correct? Are you eating this pork chop? Or does Didi Fuego was she like the temperature that you needed? Was she well done? Was she well? Was she medium or was she too rare? Did she deserve a little bit more time in the show? Let us know in the comments below. But until next time, and on behalf of my co-caster QuackrrJack, this is Renegayde out. Remember, keep spilling that tea, y'all. Bye.
Bye.